Hi friends, I'm Janet Williams. We at Women of Grace are dedicated to the authentic Catholic spiritual formation of women. It is to this end that we offer you Grace Under Fire to expose the darkness of false spiritualities and contemporary trends.
Hello, I'm Sue Brinkman, Director of New Age Research at Women of Grace. We recently got an email from someone just by the initials MK, and she said, I was told Wicca people aren't involved in witchcraft and that they're just people of the earth. They respect the earth and are into herbs and natural things. I thought I heard, though, that they are with the New Age. What do you know about them? Well, MK, everything that you've heard about Wicca is true, but only some of the time. Let me explain that. Wicca is just another name for witchcraft. The name was devised as a way to get around the negative connotations associated with witches and witchcraft. Historically, it's a modern subset of witchcraft. The name Wicca is derived from the Old English word wick, which means witch, and it's a form of modern religious witchcraft that was originally meant to be a goddess-centered nature religion. Now, the Wiccans of today, this was invented in the 1950s by Gerald Gardner, who claimed he learned Wiccan lore and many of its rituals from a centuries-old coven of witches that no one has ever been able to locate. He's believed to have invented most of the rites or borrowed them from rituals created earlier in the 20th century by the notorious British Satanist Aleister Crowley. Gardner's new version of witchcraft became popular in the U.S. after an appearance on the Today Show by a professed witch named Sybil Leek, who made witchcraft seem harmless and interesting and entertaining. So once it reached our shores, it began to morph into what some experts called a populist magical mystery cult that includes a vast collection of ancient Celtic, Greek, Roman, and Egyptian religions, as well as many forgotten traditions, such as shamanic healing circles and Toltec wisdom. It also incorporates political causes and enthusiasm, such as feminism, environmentalism, gay activism, anti-war activism. The hallmark of Wicca is its diversity, which is why I say that everything MK writes about it is sometimes true. Alexander Brooks, an expert on witchcraft, describes it as being individualistic to the point of being anarchic, with no centralized authority or even any agreed-upon definition of what a witch is. In effect, a witch is whoever says they're a witch, and witch beliefs and practices amount to whatever individual witches actually believe and do. So anything goes for today's modern witch or Wiccan, if you prefer. However, there are 4 basic tenets that can be ascribed to the underlying belief system of modern witchcraft. First is a belief that divinity is immanent in all of nature. That's called animism, polytheism, pantheism. Second, it's a female-centered and goddess-oriented religion. Third, it does not believe in the concept of sin and the uniqueness of Christ. And fourth, it believes in spiritual reciprocity, or what goes around comes around. You're also going to find no central authority or established organization in the Wiccan religion, and the internet is its unofficial church. Many Wiccans are involved in occult practices such as magic, clairvoyance, and divination, and as previously noted, they can ascribe to any number of New Age and or neo-pagan beliefs. This is why any involvement in witchcraft is explicitly condemned in the Bible, such as in Deuteronomy 18:10, 2 Kings 21:6, and any other place in Scripture where sorcery and magic is referred to and forbidden. But even if a Wiccan is not involved in the occult expert Father Lawrence Gazy explains why it must be avoided. He says, the practice of Wicca is incompatible with Christianity because it's based on the worship of pagan deities and is therefore a sin against the first commandment. Wicca is basically a pantheistic religion, which means it is a worship of nature. It's pagan, which means it is also polytheistic in that it worships multiple gods and goddesses. And on the other hand, we are monotheistic, meaning we worship the one true God. Now, this has resulted in an explosion of popularity in witchcraft among young girls, particularly on social media platforms such as Instagram, which boasts of more than 3.7 million posts under hashtag witch, and nearly 700,000 under hashtag witches of Instagram. The witches of Instagram, by the way, they're all these hip young women who speak about how witchcraft is a source of empowerment for women. Well, one teen girl who got caught up in the whole witchcraft empowerment craze and who had been taught by a Wiccan high priestess, well, she courageously spoke out about how her venture into witchcraft went horribly wrong. She says, the more I learned, the more things started to spiral downward, deeper and deeper into darkness and black magic. I became very good at what I was being taught. My teacher never acknowledged Satan, but did say that there was something called the abyss that we should avoid. Then one night, this young woman had a horrible experience. She says, one hot summer night I was lying awake in my bedroom, and all of a sudden the room became very cold. I started to shiver and broke out into a cold sweat, although it was the height of summer. A cold wind blew in through my window, startling me. Now I was terrified. I hugged my knees to my chest and I gasped as a legion of what can only be described as black demons encircled my head, all laughing at me. I started screaming out my Wiccan spells to rebuke them, hoping they would disappear. That only made things worse. The laughter escalated with each spell I tried. Then all of a sudden I remembered my days in Sunday school as a child and the teachings of Jesus. I hadn't thought about that in a long time, but in a loud voice I called upon Jesus Christ to rid the room of this dark presence. Instantly, they were gone, and my bedroom was once again calm and warm. My life was never the same after that. She returned to Christianity and now warns women who think Wicca is harmless. A lot of women think that by practicing Wicca, worshiping this so-called goddess, that they are celebrating their womanhood. Well, I'm here to tell them there is a lot more to it than that. Lots of them haven't had the experiences I have, but they can and they will if they stick with it. It's like the warning on a pack of cigarettes. Wicca is dangerous and could be hazardous to your health. For more information, visit the New Age Q&A blog at womenofgrace.com.
If you would like more information on how you can participate in a Women of Grace study, contact us at info@womenofgrace.com. Listen to Grace Under Fire every Wacky Wednesday on Women of Grace Live at 11 a.m. Eastern on EWTN Radio.